I am Gaius Julius Caesar. I am not a plebe. I am not a commoner. I am a patrician, part of the Julii clan. And this is not a robe. This is a toga. This color of purple was granted to me by the Senate. This is a special dispensation from the Senate. Most of the senators, all of the senators, have to wear a white toga with a purple lining. Me, because of my greatness, because of my defender of Rome, because of my title of being such a great conqueror of barbarians, and such being a wonderful, great Roman, the Senate sought to bestow this honor of wearing purple with the gold lining. This is a toga. This is my toga. Again, I am Gaius Julius Caesar. I'd like to talk to you a little bit about who I am. Early on in my youth, when I was freshly married to Cornelia, I was given my first obstacle. The dictator Sulla came into our home and said and demanded that I divorce Cornelia. Her father was a ally of Gaius Marius, as I was an ally of Gaius Marius, and Gaius Marius, as you may remember, was an enemy of Sulla. I could have done what he demanded. I could have given in to it. I could have divorced Cornelia at his command. He was a dictator. But I refused. I refused to abandon my wife. I stood by Cornelia. And because of that, he took all my money and banished me from Rome. That was my youth. I've had several women in my life that have been important people to me. Cornelia, as I mentioned, she was the mother of my daughter, Julia, my only legitimate heir, other than my adopted son. She was wonderful, Cornelia. And when she died in childbirth, having my daughter, Julia, my heart was broken. My daughter, Julia, was the apple of my eye. She was everything to me. She was somebody extremely important to me. Probably the most important woman in my entire world. Close to that was Aurelia, who was my mother. Aurelia was my mother. She helped raise Julia while I was off campaigning. Uh, she's the one who taught me how to be a man and take care of things and do the right thing and how to be a good woman, as my father spent much of his time before his death in the service of ancient Rome. My family has given its life and its time and all it can to the city of Rome and to everything it stands for. Lastly, I've been married 3 times. Now, I won't bore you with the details, but the only woman that I truly loved was Cornelia. She was the woman that I loved. Of course, my daughter was, I said, the apple of my eye. Early on in my career, I worked with my triumvirate of friends, Crassus, who met his poor untimely death in Parthia, and I'm going to go back to Rome and I'm going to lead an army against Parthia to avenge my friend Crassus and the horrors, the indignity that they committed to him. And the other part of the triumvirate was Pompey. And to seal that relationship between me and Pompey, I offered my daughter Julia in wedlock. And they married. And the most disturbing day of my life was the day that I heard the news that Julia had died in childbirth. It not only broke me, though, it broke our triumvirate up. Pompey sided with my political enemies, and I was forced to march on Rome. Crossing the Rubicon, I said, the die is cast, and I brought an army to Rome. This was done because I was really given no other choice. See, the people in the Senate saw me as being breaking the law because of my conquest in Gaul, because of what I had ordered and done as a consul. They sought to to destroy me, to banish me, to ruin me. I had no choice. They gave me no other option. I was forced to march on Rome. And by doing so, I started the Civil War. But I don't take blame for it. I pass the blame off to Pompey and those who tricked him into being against me. I blame them. I marched on Rome to save Rome from those who sought to destroy it. See, because the things that I wanted, the things I had pushed for, the things that I have done since then is for the betterment of Rome. I have made it a better place. The ordinary citizen had no farm. They were forced to live off government. I encouraged them and enabled them and forced the Senate to give them land and to give our veterans land in the areas of Campania and other parts of Italy so that they could raise crops on their own, have a living of their own, raise a family on their own. I did that for the good of Rome. And those who stood with Pompey didn't want to follow the law as much as they wanted to destroy me. They did not want to compromise. They wanted to banish me. They wanted to hurt me because of all the good I had done for the average citizens. Now, I had some questions from you. The wonderful, magnificent, the strikingly handsome Mr. Baldini gave me a list of things that I should answer. Why was I popular? Because I was a winner. I won. I freed us from the fear of barbarians invading Rome. By my conquest of Gaul, by my conquest of what you call today France and Belgium, by that conquest, I ensured that Rome would not face an invasion from barbarians. I mean, this is a fear that goes all the way back to Cincinnatus, the barbarian invasions from the north. And here I am, marching legions into that territory, conquering them, forcing civilization on them. Some would say it was genocide. I say civilization. I say I brought civilization to the ancient Gauls. Why? Because they were barbarians. They were invading our territory. That was unacceptable. They were invading Rome. They sought to sack Rome. And instead, I stood up to them. Another question. Who were my enemies? I think that's pretty clear. Pretty much everybody. Everybody who wasn't with me. If they weren't with me, they were against me. Pompey was with me, and then he turned. Lastly, what did I hope to gain? All that I have done is everything that I've done, my family has done in the history. All that I've hoped to accomplish has always been in the betterment of Rome. Everything that I've done, yes, there's been ambition on my part, of course. If you don't have ambition, you have no desire to improve yourself. Without a desire to improve yourself, you can accomplish nothing. So, yes, I had ambition, but I also sought to gain greatness for Rome. And after I kicked Parthia out of the Middle East, after I conquered them and paid them back for the indignity that they did to Crassus, I will ensure that Rome will continue to grow strong and powerful. I am the only Roman to have set foot in the British Isles and been successful. I am the Roman who has crossed the Rhine and put fear of Rome into the Germanic people. I am the person who defeated Pompey. That's it for now. I will be back with a third installment of Julius Caesar, Gaius Julius Caesar, my greatness, my being. Before I head off to through the time tunnel back to ancient Rome, remember this: Veni, Vidi, Vici. I came, I saw, I conquered.